This is the Bates Bobcast, our weekly podcast where we take a look at the week that was in Bates athletics. My name is Aaron Morse, and this week we're celebrating an undefeated week for both lacrosse teams. The baseball team is finally back in action and on the winning track. All that and more coming up on the Bates Bobcast. The women's lacrosse team edged Williams on Saturday at Garcelon Field in overtime by a score of 8-7. The end of the game was thrilling, to say the least. The Eefs scored 4 goals in a row to take a 7-6 lead. They had the ball with less than a minute to go in regulation, but with the clock ticking down, Bates forced a turnover. First-year Liv Sanford knocked the ball loose and picked up the ground ball with less than 10 seconds to go. She connected with fellow first-year Avery McMullen, who scored the game-tying goal with only 4 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, so we had a turnover around the 30-yard line. I think it was Liv Sanford with the turnover, so she had the ball. My defender had left me. She passed it to me. I was around the 15. I caught the ball. I could think was catch ball. So I caught the ball, turned, goalie was out, and I just shot it towards the goal. I don't really know much more.
Did you take a glance at the scoreboard to see how much time is left?
No, not at all. I had no idea.
Yeah. And then did you look up afterwards to see how much time?
Yeah.
What did your teammates say to you after you scored?
I just don't really remember, honestly. It was so thrilling, but they were just congratulating, and then we had to get ready for overtime with the team.
In overtime, neither team scored for the first 3 minutes. Then Bates caused a turnover on the draw control, and junior Allison Dewey picked up the ground ball. She raced unimpeded toward the goal, going top shelf for the game winner.
Yeah, it was honestly nerve-wracking. It was right off the draw. The girl grabbed it who was actually on me, and I was really frustrated that she had the ball. And all of us triple-teamed, I believe, and she just got really flustered. Dropped the ball. I saw it on the ground, and honestly it was like, oh my God. Picked it up, and there was an open lane to goal, so I just took it and shot, and it went in, and it was the best feeling ever.
Right, and she looked like she was running the wrong way, or looked the right way for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. I think she got a little nervous by the pressure, but at least she dropped the ball, and we got the ball and scored, and that's all we want to see, honestly.
How amazing was it to see Avery there with 4 seconds left in the entire game score the equalizer?
I honestly had a heart attack. I saw Olivia Sanford get the ball. She checked the ball out of another girl's stick, passed it to Avery. Avery was wide open, and I was like, oh my God, she's going to score, and there was 3 seconds left, and I honestly dropped my stick. If you look at the film, I dropped my stick and had screamed and just was so excited and ran right to her. It was the best feeling. Head
coach Brett Allen breaks down the team's first NESCAC victory of the season. Thriller here at Garcelon Field. There's only seconds left in the game, and a first-year Avery McMullen's able to get the equalizer. What do you see from the sidelines?
Well, it looked like, obviously, we were putting a ton of pressure on them. They had a bobble. We found one of our other first-years, Liv Sanford, was able to scoop up the ground ball, got her head up, and saw Avery, who had been sort of dropping to play if the ball reversed the field, and their goalie was the only thing in between Avery and an open net. And once the goalie made the decision to come play her on the catch, it was wide open, so it was just a matter of burying it, which she did.
Yeah, Allison Dewey mentioned that once she saw Avery get the ball, she was like, oh my gosh, she's going to score. Did you have the same thought?
I did. I looked up as soon as I saw Liv was making the pass just to see what the scenario looked like, and as long as she caught the ball, I was feeling pretty confident, and she did, so that was good.
I know this team's had some close overtime games this year. How great is it to pull out this victory, and then overtime, Dewey getting that steal there about midfield and taking it all the way there?
Yeah, we've had a lot of coaches would call close games character builders. I guess I agree with that in some respects, but they're also heart attack makers too, whether you're a player or a coach. We've grown from the experiences we've had. We've played a lot of close games. This is our third overtime game. It's our third 1-goal game. We've had another 2-goal game. And, I think the kids are starting to realize, you just have to play it for an entire game. You never know what's going to happen, whether you're up, whether you're down, you got to play the whole time. And, after we had turned the ball over with about 30 seconds to go, I think everybody was dropping their head. And, we caught a break when their kid bobbled it and was able to capitalize there with a few seconds to go.
first NESCAC win of the season. You've played some of the tougher NESCAC teams so far, the likes of Trinity and whatnot. And so it must feel really good to see this victory and then your vision going forward, kind of, right?
Well, I think whenever you get the first win of the season in conference, it is sort of one of those things where you feel like the monkey's off your back. So I'm really optimistic that we can use it as a springboard, and it gives us some confidence going into our non-conference game Tuesday, and then we're on the road at Hamilton next weekend. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully it's one of those things that is helpful for us because we know we can do it now, and we picked up the W in a conference game. But everybody's good. Like, our schedule doesn't get any easier. It's just the nature of the beast, if you will.
Allison Dewey's 2 goals, 1 assist, 2 ground balls, and 1 caused turnover in the victory makes her our female Bobcat of the week. That was your 3rd overtime game this year. I know we talked about it briefly on the field after the game, but what's it been like to have all these close contests this season?
It's definitely nerve-wracking being on the field and constantly having it be a tie game, then these overtimes, and it's definitely making our hearts beat faster, and it's obviously nerve-wracking, but it's really great to come out with the win finally because we've had some losses in the overtimes. So I think we're getting so used to it that now we know how to play in the overtimes and how to get that winning goal. So it was really exciting to have that W come out of it.
And you had the winning goal, so take us through again that play. I know it was right off the draw control.
I saw the girl next to me had won the draw, and I was obviously kind of bummed about that one, so I tried to get the ball back as quick as possible, and she bobbled the ball as we were putting pressure on her. There's 2 other players on her with me. Bobbled the ball, it bounced on the ground, and I just saw it, picked it up, and ran right to goal, and had an open lane to goal. No one was there, so I just shot it on the upper left-hand corner, and it went in.
Is it all kind of a blur in your head after you secure the ball and you're going, or are you thinking score, score, score the whole time?
Honestly, I saw Avery McMullen down in the right near the net, but she had a defender on hers. But I was honestly thinking, I could pass it to her, and I was just seeing if the defender moved at all, and she wasn't moving. So I was like, I guess I'm just going. So I just kept running right to goal, and one thing led to another, and I shot it right in.
Absolutely, and then, you witnessed Avery tie the game there at regulation. There's under 10 seconds left, and Williams has the ball, right? So what's going through your head at that point?
Well, it was honestly crazy because it was just, personally, I know it's sad to say, but I thought that the game was over. I was like, there's no way to get it back. But as soon as we saw, I saw 2 of our teammates double-teaming girl with the ball, she seemed like she was getting frazzled, and as soon as the ball got checked over stick, I got so excited because Olivia Sanford had the ball and passed it over to Avery, and I was watching Avery with the ball, and the goalie stepped out, and I was like, she's got to score, and as soon as she did, I honestly had a heart attack. It was the best feeling ever, and we all sprinted to her and cheered her on because that was probably the best feeling she'll ever have as a freshman, especially, and having that tie and goal, that probably was what saved us. She should be the Bobcat of the week, honestly.
Well,
she saved us.
She will be on the podcast, don't worry. Yeah, but women's lacrosse, I know the rules are different from men's lacrosse. It's harder to force turnovers, isn't it? And don't you wish sometimes you could just hit the other person?
Definitely. It's frustrating because I love getting caused turnovers, and it's frustrating that they call a lot of the checks that we do because they always say it's inner sphere or something like that. But they're getting a little looser with it these days. But yeah, there's definitely times where I'm I just want to get the ball out of this girl's stick because there's not much else you can do besides just wait for the perfect check or hope that she bobbles the ball at some point. But yeah, it's quite frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, and then now you're a junior, but take us back when you're looking for colleges. I know you're from Vermont, right? So what was going through your mind when you were looking for colleges, and what made you settle on Bates?
I knew that I wanted to go NESCAC due to lacrosse, and I honestly didn't know that I was going to play lacrosse until my senior year of college. So I was mostly just looking at NESCACs for just not including sports of any sorts. But then I actually heard from Brett Allen, the coach, because he saw me at a recruiting camp at Elite 180, and he reached out to me and said he was interested in me, and I honestly didn't know about Bates. I knew about a lot of the other NESCACs, but had never looked at Bates and wasn't considering it at the time. And I came up here this summer before my senior year, and I honestly fell in love with the school and the coach, and then I spent an overnight, and I fell in love with the team because they were just so charismatic and so kind and loving, and I saw that from day one. But honestly, I was looking between Bates and Middlebury, and Bates just kind of took me away with the team, especially in lacrosse, because I really want to play that. So
And then your last year, your sophomore season, the team has a breakthrough year, makes the NCAA tournament for the first time in quite some time. And so, I mean, I know you had 10 seniors graduate, but what was last year like from your perspective, just as a sophomore, having that breakthrough season?
It was great, honestly, looking at all the seniors and watching them form the team that they had formed last year, because there's 10 of them, as you just said, so they were a strong force. And although we had them the year before, we honestly just connected as like a team outside of lacrosse as well. We just were all best friends, so I think that also was seen on the field last year. And it was just the best feeling ever, having that success with these people that you considered your best friends. So it was definitely sad seeing them go, but it was amazing to at least have that experience as a sophomore and know what it feels like, so that we can continue that this year and the next year as well.
Well, I saw a lot of them were back for that game to watch you against Williams, right?
Yeah, there was all 10 of them came back,
Yeah,
which was awesome. All of them. There was not one missing. It was awesome.
To get the win there in front of them, and then obviously with them having graduated. So this year, is your role bigger this year? Is it different, or pretty much the same, you think?
It's definitely is bigger this year, because of course we don't have as many seniors, therefore the juniors definitely have to step up a little bit. But definitely being on the field and only having like 4 other seniors with you and a couple other juniors and mostly sophomores and freshmen on the field with you, definitely do have to step up. But I think that they also share the leadership role as well and are stepping up as underclassmen too. So it's kind of fun though.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously with this breakthrough win, kind of first NESCAC win of the year, do you think that's going to really hopefully cause kind of a domino effect going forward?
I definitely think that it's going to fuel the fire, because now underclassmen know what it feels like to win. For those like the freshmen that don't know it, honestly, these NESCAC wins are bigger than anything else, bigger than the out of conference wins, and it honestly feels so great to come out with a W. And I think they're finally catching on to that and have this like fire and motivation to keep doing that, especially this weekend leading up to Hamilton.
All right, well, Allison Dewey, our female Bobcat of the week, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
The men's lacrosse team is ranked 6th in the nation after an undefeated week that saw them improve their record to 7-0 on the season. The Bobcats defeated Keene State 15-9 on Tuesday and won at Williams by a count of 17-11 on Saturday. Senior captain Charlie Fay matched his career high with 6 goals against the Eves. Meanwhile, sophomore goalkeeper Mitchell Drake continues to have an outstanding season. He made a career-high 27 saves at Keene State with a career-best saves percentage of 75%. Drake is currently 1st in the NESCAC in saves and 2nd in save percentage. He is our male Bobcat of the week, and he credits the playing time he got as a first year for this year's success.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience. I'm really thankful for the opportunity to play so early on in my career here at Bates. Definitely wasn't expecting it coming in as a freshman, but, I'm just really grateful.
Peter Lasagna in our pre-season interview said you had the right of first refusal for a goalkeeper. Obviously, there's a number of other guys who could possibly play as well, but what's that like to have that competition within your own team almost?
Oh, I think it's great. I think competition, just even on your own team, it really fuels you and drives you to be better at the position and to be a better teammate. And I love all the goalies on our team. And I just love competing with them every day, competing with the rest of the team. It's great.
All right, this past week, 2-0 week, beat Keene State, beat Williams, both road games. You had a great save percentage there against Keene State, really good game against Williams as well. What have you been working on in the cage to improve your game?
Just individually, just focusing more on just saving the ball. Last year, I felt like at times I was more worried about directing the defense and kind of just situating myself outside of the cage. But this year, I'm just trying to focus on saving the ball more. I'm really lucky. I have a great defense in front of me with basically 4 close defensemen that I have a lot of trust in. The entire defense I have a lot of trust in. So it lets me be able to sit back a little bit, focus on saving the ball, and then as a unit we can stop their offense.
Yeah, because you got an All-American defenseman back there, Fred Alberg, with you, right?
Yeah. I mean, Freddie has been great. He's helped me along this whole journey. These first 2 years, he's been amazing. And then also having guys like Charlie Gravino, another senior back there on close defense, and then having Stephen Bull and freshman Frankie Spitz to rotate in there. I think those 4 guys being able to rotate into the game at different parts of the time is crucial for our defense.
I was watching the Williams game, and you had quite the outlet pass there to Burke Smith, I believe. It led to a goal. What developed on that play?
Well, Sam Friend won the face-off clean. He brought it back down to our side of the field. Safe play because there was a long pull on him. He tossed it back to me. I just saw Burke wide open in the middle of the field, breaking away like he should. just got the ball to him, went down the field and scored. A little upset I didn't get the assist there.
They credit you.
Yeah, I know. But, I'll take the goal anyway. It was
Yeah, I noticed that, but it must felt almost like a quarterback in that moment, huh?
Yeah. Well, we do drills in practice sometimes where it's called quarterback drill, where we do that exact same thing. So it's always fun.
Yeah, so it's nice to see that translate to the game, right?
Exactly.
And then, so now moving forward this year, you still got some, heavyweights on the schedule, whether it be Bowdoin or Middlebury's off to a slow start, but they're a really good team, and of course, Tufts leading up. So, what's been the focus on practice these past few days and whatnot?
I think this year more than ever, we're really focused on ourselves and how we're playing, and I think that's translated well into the games.
Big roster. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this team. How do you keep track of everyone?
No, I love these guys. I know all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the team chemistry is amazing. I think we have more depth than I've ever seen on a team that I've ever been a part of, and I think Coach Lozani would agree with that.
Tell me a little bit about your background. I mean, a sophomore, but when you're looking for schools a few years back, what attracted you here to Bates?
Well, I'd actually never heard of Bates. I'm from Annapolis, Maryland. I never thought about going to school in Maine, but I was emailed by Coach Lasagna. He was the first person I'd ever talked to about Bates. And after visiting the school, meeting all the lacrosse guys, meeting people who weren't involved in sports, meeting faculty and everyone here, it just felt like the right fit, and I really love the campus.
Had you ever been to Maine before?
No, never. Never.
So what was your first impression when you visited?
I loved it. It's beautiful. I love the outdoors, so like hiking, anything, it's just great. I just love Maine.
Do you know how Coach Lasagna discovered you to reach out like that?
It must have been a summer tournament or something of the sort, but I don't know exactly what tournament.
Were you looking to play in college, or was that on your radar, though?
No, definitely. I mean, I was looking at all the NESCAC schools. I just never really looked at Bates in depth until you contacted me.
So it always helps to have that first coach show an interest, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great. I mean, I'm grateful that he was able to, look for me, and now I'm in the position I'm in. It's great.
You mentioned the team really focusing on, yourselves and not getting too ahead of yourself, but there's got to be a little bit of a chip on your guys' shoulder from kind of the snub last year from the tournament, right? Because you guys went 11-4.
Yeah. There's definitely some animosity towards that, but this year we have a lot of returning guys who know what it feels like now to, not make the tournament when we think we really should have. But, this year we're coming back stronger than ever, and, our goals are to win a NESCAC championship and win a national championship, and those are never going to change.
Well, off to a good start. Undefeated so far in the season. Hamilton up next. Mitchell Drake, our male Bobcat of the week. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
The baseball team was back in action last week, taking on Salem State in a doubleheader on Saturday. They dropped Game 1 4-1, but bounced back to win Game 2 3-0. Then on Sunday, the Bobcats defeated Endicott 10-4 to improve their record to 4-4 on the season. First-year catcher Jack Arend had a nice week, going 4 for 6 at the plate with 2 runs scored, 2 runs batted in, and 3 walks, raising his batting average to .333 on the young season.
You guys had that California trip in February, played 5 games there, and then a month of nothing until this past weekend when you guys took on Salem State and Endicott. What was that month like? What were you guys working on during that month?
The whole month, Coach didn't really want us to do too much. We had like hour and a half long practices, so there wasn't anything too heavy. But we just came in, got our work in. Catchers would do our drills, get our BP in. Pitchers throw bullpens whenever they needed to. But other than that, that's all we could do inside. But a month off, it can get frustrating, but you try to stay positive.
Sure, and then came back, split doubleheader with Salem State,
Yep.
and then beat up on Endicott a little bit. And so, for you personally, how did you see that month of practice apply to the first 3 games back?
I thought it went well. Everyone was kind of a little, I wouldn't say nervous, but they were just kind of getting the cobwebs off when we kind of got back onto the field. But no, I thought it went really well. Everyone kind of knew their role. We're just trying to put the bat in the ball, get a couple hits, hit some hard ground balls, and then pitchers were just trying to attack the strike zone, make the hitters force off contact, stuff like that.
Now, you're the catcher, or one of the catchers on the team. As a first year, though, that's a big leadership position. So what's that been like for you?
It's been cool. It's definitely different. Going from senior in high school, being the captain, having everyone kind of look up to you, to being a freshman, everyone's like, all right, let's go. Like, it's your time you need to command the pitchers. You got to be on top of everything. But it's been great. I mean, Coach Martin has given me a ton of confidence. Coach Dessler has been helping me with my swing. So everyone else is good. The captains, Brendan Fox, Ryan McCarthy, they've been awesome. There's nothing bad to say about it.
Sure. What's maybe been the bigger adjustment, hitting-wise or fielding-wise, you think, behind the plate?
For me, I would say hitting. In high school, you don't face too many kids that can command every single pitch, where here everyone can kind of command their off-speed a little bit better, where in high school you can just kind of wait for a fastball and hit that. But
that used to be my strategy.
Yeah. But no, catching, I'm more natural as a catcher. I think just leadership kind of comes naturally to me, and I just enjoy calling the games and being in every play. So there's no problem with that. And all the pitchers have really kind of seemed like they enjoy throwing to me, which is awesome. But I would definitely say hitting, just because it's a little faster. You kind of have to catch up to it a little bit, use your hands, and not try to do too much with the ball.
Switch hitter, right?
Yeah.
When did that develop?
Actually, when I was in Little League, I went to the left side of the plate, and a coach who was a dad, he said, "Oh, you're on the wrong side of the plate." So I was like, okay, didn't really think anything of it. Batted right-handed until middle school, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to try switch hitting. And then ever since then, I've just been switch hitting.
And is that an extra challenge, or gives you more of an advantage, you think?
It's definitely a challenge. Yeah. Being right-handed and swinging left-handed, I definitely have some pull tendencies because I'm dominant right-handed. But it gives me a better view of the pitchers. When I'm up left-handed, I can definitely see the ball a lot better. And then when they throw a lefty, I can switch around, go righty, and it just makes it easier to play just because if we got a lefty throwing and I'm only batting left-handed, it's hard for Coach Martin to say, oh, okay, well, you're batting lefty on lefty. That's a tough matchup. So if I can go up righty against a lefty, it's just creating good matchups, and everything hopefully will work out. But yeah, everything's been going well so far.
It's kind of a lost art, isn't it?
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, you don't see too many guys doing it. It's definitely tough. I mean, I definitely work on my left-handed swing a lot more than my right-handed swing because I'm more natural right-handed, and everything seems and feels more natural right-handed. But when I go up lefty, I take a ton of swings left-handed just to try and kind of produce as much as I can right-handed. And ever since I've been starting switch hitting in actual games, it's been fun. It's been challenging. The first 2 years, I didn't like them at all because I couldn't get hits, but I stuck with it, and everything's been working out perfectly fine.
And your first year, how did you decide on Bates? I know obviously Coach Leonard recruited you first, and then John took over. So what was that transition like even before you got here?
Yeah, I had a lot of good conversations with Coach Leonard. He's a good guy. He's part of the reason I decided to come here because he was a catcher and I'm a catcher. So I decided, he's a catcher. I can work with a guy that was in minor league systems and stuff like that. But, I mean, he called me when he got the job offer from Middlebury, and we had a conversation, and it is what it is. It's a better opportunity for him. Like, it's a good spot for his family to go and stuff like that. But, I mean, I didn't know Coach Martin coming in. Not a lot of us, like, none of us really knew who he was.
Right.
But we were excited kind of we're not reevaluating what we're doing or just kind of, like, restarting what we're doing because we've had a good base of people that were here, like all the captains, juniors, and seniors and stuff like that. But Coach Martin has been really a good guy. He gives you confidence. He likes to keep everything light. He's kind of a nut, but he's awesome. No, he's been awesome.
Outstanding. Now, you've got a veteran pitching staff to work with. That must be nice, right? Connor Speed, Connor Russell, Anthony Teleska. These guys have been there and done that.
Yeah, they've actually helped me a lot, especially calling games. Like in high school, like I said, you could just wait for a fastball, and I'm used to, okay, well, these kids can't hit fastballs. Now you got to just call fastballs. But now it's, okay, you got to think a lot more, work your changeup, work your splitter, work curveball. You got to kind of mix in everything. But, I mean, like yesterday, Teleska threw. He did really well, and we just coached. Like, we tried to break out a couple pitches the first inning, and Coach just said, just stick with fastball changeup, and it really helped him that whole game.
Excellent. So sometimes it's better to simplify as opposed to overthinking.
Yeah, you don't want to overcomplicate things too much because then that's when you just get in your head and you just get all unfocused, and it's not good.
Well, if the weather cooperates, NESCAC play should start this weekend against Colby. How excited are you to see some NESCAC competition?
I'm pumped, actually. Actually, one of the schools I was recruited by was Tufts, and I obviously chose Bates over Tufts, is why I'm here. But I'm super pumped to get into playing against those guys, and Colby. I mean, I didn't even know about the CBB until I got here. Honestly, like I was like, what's going on? I didn't know it was that big of a deal, but it's awesome. No, I think it's cool that we get to jump right in. Colby has a great turf field that we can go over there and get some games in. But I mean, weather, it's Northeast. I'm from the Northeast. You can't do anything about it. But it's as long as you just keep grinding and keep working at it, and then games will come. Weather will hopefully get better.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see some games at Leahy Field eventually, right?
Yeah, it's been covered by snow, but it's getting there. Today doesn't really help, but it's getting there.
All right. Well, Jack Arend, nice start for the baseball season so far. Looking forward to NESCAC play. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
The rowing teams made their spring debut at the Murphy Cup on Saturday. The men's varsity 8 took 6th place out of 22 boats, and the women's varsity 8 finished second in their heat to Division I Boston College, qualifying for the petite final, in which they came in 5th, despite finishing with the 3rd fastest time due to an interference ruling by the officials. The rowing teams are back in action this weekend, with the men taking on Boston College, the Harvard lightweight, and Trinity on Saturday. The women compete with Simmons, the MIT lightweight, and Smith on Saturday, and the Harvard lightweight on Sunday. Next time on the Bates Bobcast, we'll tell you how the first NESCAC games of the season go for the baseball team. They are scheduled to take on Colby in Waterville on Thursday, and a doubleheader is scheduled against the Mules on Saturday. Softball is scheduled to open NESCAC play at Tufts, and the track and field teams begin their outdoor seasons at the University of Maine. Plus, both tennis and both lacrosse teams are in action, with the men's lacrosse team hosting Hamilton at 1 o'clock this Saturday at Garcelon Field. We'll recap it all next time on the Bates Bobcast.
Bates, 5 billion, 5 billion of every